A new computer app aimed at high school students has some local parents worried about their children's privacy online.
Finally, some relief from the heat across East Alabama. We'll talk about a drier and cooler forecast coming up.
One local coach is heading to a new role. We'll tell you about it coming up in sports. EAN Local News starts now.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Waldrop Manufacturing, metal buildings made right here in Calhoun County.
Good evening and thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News for Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. I'm Katie Edwards.
And I'm Mike Stedham.
The scheduling program called Saturn Time Together was listed as the 5th most downloaded app in the social media category on Apple's App Store on Tuesday. A search of the app by EAN News revealed that hundreds of East Alabama students, including those at Jacksonville, Weaver, Alexandria, and Sachs high schools, have created accounts on the app. The site claims to have 248 users in the Jacksonville City School District alone. According to joinsaturn.com, the app is designed to help high school students integrate academic, sporting, and school-wide social calendars or hangouts. Security issues have been raised by parents of students using Saturn, with one father claiming to have set up a fake account that allowed him to gain access to 350 new friends and discover the full schedules for those students. Oxford Police Chief Bill Partridge says some of the features of Saturn are commonly used by predators to develop inappropriate relationships with minors, and he says apps like Saturn should concern parents. Partridge says these apps are essentially giving individuals who may have bad intentions a roadmap to user schedules each day. He says, quote, "My personal opinion is that if you're underage or a school child, you should not have any apps on your phone of any kind unless it's approved by your parent."
A Calhoun County jailer was arrested Saturday night for allegedly shoplifting Pokemon cards from the Oxford Walmart. Officials say 35-year-old Josh Dale Hardy, a correctional officer at the county jail, took about $200 worth of the cards and tried to leave the store without paying for them. When confronted by store security, he ran away, but was soon captured at a local restaurant by Oxford police. Sheriff Matthew Wade said Monday that Hardy had been fired from his job, and he thanked Oxford police for their professionalism in handling this case.
When we come back, we'll tell you about changes being made at Anniston's 2 hospital emergency rooms.
Well, my name's Mike Craven, and we recently purchased an open carport, metal carport from Waldrop Manufacturing. I have an extra car. We have a very small home, very small driveway. And I needed somewhere just to park another vehicle, just out of the weather. And I had been told by 2 or 3 friends that knew we had recently remodeled a home that Waldrops were the people that you need to go talk to. I was in that area one day and I thought, hey, I'll just stop in, and I did without calling, and greeted warmly, well taken care of. It was just, really the whole process was just good from day one.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by WM Grocery, located in Heflin, Wadowee, Roanoke, and in Piedmont.
Core Clinical Partners of Atlanta, a physician service company, has now begun providing emergency medical services at RMC and Stringfellow hospitals. Core will be receiving emergency physicians as part of the deal signed with RMC Health System, which runs both of Anniston's hospitals. RMC officials said Monday that the partnership with Core is an effort to improve the quality of care, optimize patient outcomes, and enhance safe staff support for the emergency departments, which serve about 55,000 patients each year.
A few residents of Calhoun County will find themselves voting in different districts in 2026 when they elect a new county commission. Those district lines were recently redrawn by the commission to keep its population balance as close to even as possible, says incoming chairman Danny Shears.
So when the census came out in 2020, it showed a decrease of population in the Anniston area, or District 1, Commissioner Fred Wilson's district. And it showed some growth in the Jacksonville and Piedmont area, which was District 5. Now those two don't meet geographically, so we had to give a little, District 5 had to give a little bit to me in District 2 and to Commissioner Howell in District 4. And then we had to then give some to District 1 to make it work out. And so it was a little bit of movement, not very much as far as the land goes, but mainly was able to increase District 1 back to where it needed to be and decrease the population of District 5.
Shear says he expects his 9-month tenure as chairman to be busy, as the commission is still working on projects being funded through the COVID aid package approved back during the pandemic.
We got an expansion of the jail that's going on right now, updating some things. And then also phase 2 of that is we're doing a medical wing at the jail with the topic of mental illness. You know, a lot of inmates we get, you know, suffer mentally. And so we're designing and implementing and going to be breaking ground hopefully soon on a new medical wing at the jail, which will help us for many, many, many years to come. And we're able to use some of our American Rescue Act money for that.
Shear says the commission has about a year to finish making plans for the rest of the COVID money, and then it will have 2 years to complete those projects.
When we come back, we'll tell you about a very special concert coming up Thursday night in Heflin.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Oxford Lumber. Come visit any of our locations in Oxford, Jacksonville, Talladega, and Roanoke.
And before we leave you tonight, we want to remind you of the concert in the courthouse coming up in Heflin on Tuesday. The Cleburne County Community Choir will present a musical tribute to Paula Haynes Short. The program starts at 6:30 in the Cleburne County Courthouse. Mrs. Short was a beloved member of the community and a member of the choir. She was also a retired teacher who devoted time to serving the children of Cleburne County.
Now, Katie, I know we weren't supposed to have much rain today, but I heard some thunder.
We did have some thunder. We did have a little bit of rain, and the humidity kind of lightened up just a little bit after that rain.
So. And the temperature, as predicted, has been coming down.
Yes, thank goodness. Let's turn to John Holder, who joins us now in the EAN Weather Center. John, tell us about the weather.
Mike and Katie, we finally have some relief from all the late afternoon, early evening scattered showers and thunderstorms, and also from the intense heat. We're going to talk about a forecast that most folks are going to like for August in Alabama coming up next.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Some cloud cover today across parts of Calhoun and Cleburne County, and some light rain showers earlier in the day today. That led to temperatures only reaching 86 degrees. A cool front moved through later on in the afternoon, and that kept temperatures below normal for this time of year. Warm this morning, 76, but with the front moving through and the rainfall and clouds, we just didn't have a very big rise in temperatures. A record high temperature again, going back to that big heat wave in 2007, 104 back in that year, and 55 for the record low. You see your averages for this time of year, and the days now are really noticeably getting shorter. 6:06 your sunrise time tomorrow morning. The sun setting tonight now at 7:30. Weather on your street on a Tuesday night. We're going to take you to Skyline Drive in Sachs. Be a nice night out in Sachs to look at the sky. Total clear skies tonight. Clear skies, much cooler temperatures. We're dropping down to 62 tonight. Some folks in some of the valley locations might actually drop down into the early, or I should say upper 50s by early tomorrow morning. During the day tomorrow, about as good as we could ask for in August in Alabama. 86 out on State Farm Road in the Alexandria Valley. Drier and cooler, not only temperatures that will be about 10 degrees cooler than what we've seen over the last several days, but also you're going to see lowered humidity and dew point values. It is going to feel fantastic out there on State Farm Road in Alexandria tomorrow. And for the rest of the week, more sunny and dry weather. We're taking rain out of the forecast out in the Chocowacca Valley on Starla Drive. Mostly 80s for highs, 60s for nighttime lows. And as we've been telling you, the big story will be the lower humidity and dew point values. It's going to feel very nice for the next couple of days and really for most of the week across East Alabama. However, as we look at the 7-day forecast, the dry weather continues, but not the cooler temperatures. We're going to see an increase in the temperatures, not drastically. It will be a slow increase. 86 tomorrow, 88 on Thursday, 91 on Friday. But by the time we get into the weekend, we're back into the mid-90s. Hot weather, way above normal for this time of year. 94 on Saturday, 95 Sunday, 95 on Monday and Tuesday of next week. This will be dry weather. We don't see any excessive heat coming as far as the excessive heat warnings and things like that, because the humidity and dew point values will still be moderate, but we are going to see an increase in showers and maybe a few thunderstorms by Tuesday of next week. But we're basically going to be clear, dry, and hot over the weekend and the early part of next week. We did have some rainfall yesterday. We had some rainfall early this morning. This is the rainfall coverage across Alabama for the 24 hours that ended at 7 o'clock this morning. And as you see here in Cleburne and Calhoun counties, most folks about a quarter to maybe a half inch of rainfall total in that 24-hour period. You go up into the Tennessee Valley in northwest Alabama, some bigger amounts up there. 2 inches plus in some of those areas. But for here, we just had some very light rainfall for the most part over the last 24 hours. And the big story is that is the last rainfall that we're going to see for about a week here in East Alabama. Well, coming up next, some big news in the baseball world concerning Oxford High School. And Chase Robinson has the details right now. Chase?
Thanks, John. 3 months after winning the 6A state championship on the baseball field, Oxford head baseball coach Wes Brooks has resigned from coaching to take a role as the supervisor of safety and operations for athletics for Oxford City Schools. Brooks talks about leaving the coaching to take this new role.
Closing the door on Oxford baseball, was a tough decision. And I don't think any time is ever a time our coach thinks it's the right time. But at all the conversations that I've had with this new role, at the end of those conversations, I think Wes Brooks is the right guy for this position. And why do I say that? I got 2 daughters. They play soccer, they tap dance, cheer, ballet. They're on the cheerleading team. They play flag football. I've coached girls basketball. I've coached another female sport, flag football. I've coached football itself, the head baseball coach. And I've got a really good working relationships with all our coaches here. I've got a really good working relationship with the folks at Oxford Park and Recreation and Chocowacca Park. And I got a really good working relationship with the city of Oxford and those folks down at City Hall. And it just makes sense.
Brooks has spent the last 18 seasons as the head baseball coach at Oxford High School with 2 state championships and a number of guys who have gone on and played in college and professionally. Coach Brooks talks about what stands out to him when he thinks about his time coaching.
The players and coaches that have came through, and then now they come back to, like this year we had a good playoff run and several guys coming back to the semifinals. So back in 2009, we had a semifinal game against Vestavia here, right out here at our home field. That was an amazing come from behind win that sent us to the state finals. The 2012 entire year, that team, 2011 and 2012 both, Bobby McCain was a member on that 2011 team and a starter that won 31 games, and now he's defensive back in the NFL. I did coach football, and while I was coaching linebackers, Quan Alexander was a linebacker, transitioned into a linebacker that year. So those things come to mind.
We have reached single-digit days in our countdown to high school football. We continue our team previews tonight with another team that experienced some change this offseason. The The Spring Garden Panthers enter a new era as defensive coordinator Barrett Ragsdale was promoted to head coach in July after Jason Howard departed for Coosa High School in Rome. Coach Ragsdale talked about how the transition from assistant to head coach has been since July.
Being there so long and being so familiar with the system and the kids and just, all the workings of the football program definitely made the transition, I'd say smoother, easier. And then having great coaches on staff, we've all been together for a long time. We're on the same page, so it definitely helps, and has made the transition from assistant coach to head coach a lot easier.
With Spring Garden being a 1A school, a lot of guys having to play both ways on offense and defense. Coach Ragsdale talks about what they have to do in order to get the guys ready to play both ways.
All through the year in the weight room, whether we're at football practice, in season, off season, the guys probably get tired of hearing coaches make mention of, hey, you ain't coming off the field. Hey, this part of conditioning right here, you got to suck it up and push it a little harder and find that extra gear. So it's a year-round mentality. No matter what we're doing, we'd really conditioning is a heavy part. I know it is for everybody, but even more so when you got kids that are not going to come off the field.
And that's it for sports. Let's go back over to Mike and Katie.
Thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News.
You can find us here online every weekday evening starting around 6:30 on either Facebook or YouTube. Just go to our video feed and watch the news whenever it's convenient for you.
We'll see you back here Wednesday for your news on your schedule.